Your show got canceled, girl. Me, I increase ratings, me and my husband. Contrary to what the anybody wanna believe, we all know who the queen and the king is. The drama on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta just hit a boiling point. And this time, it's not just about rumors. It's about power, pride, and who truly runs the show. Rasheeda thought she was making a bold confession, one that would cement her as the undeniable queen of the franchise. But instead of gaining respect, her words have completely backfired, sparking a tidal wave of backlash and fueling Yandy's unstoppable fan army. Social media is on fire. Twitter threads are endless. TikToks are going viral. And Instagram lives are exploding with fans who are not only defending Yandy, but dragging Rasheeda in ways she never saw coming. Some are calling it the end of Rasheeda's reign, while others believe this could be the fight that finally decides who really holds the crown. And let's be clear, this isn't just about two women throwing shade. This is about influence, loyalty, and who the viewers truly ride for when the cameras stop rolling. Do you have a Google alert on me? You've been throwing out all the headlines on the blog. You just keep throwing out this frivolous stuff and talking nonsense. Let's talk about the receipts. Let's talk about the stuff you've been saying in podcasts. Let's talk about these tapes. Let's talk about you pleading the fifth to this and pleaded fifth to that. Let's talk about that. And please stop talking about where my hoo-ha goes when you have a song called Legs to the Moon and your husband had to swab your baby. Let's keep it a buck that you got to NLE that your man goes around telling people he don't like you according to you. All you doing is telling us that you the biggest liar I ever met in my life. You deflecting once again. You want to sit here and talk about me, your husband, and your husband that? What about you, man? You can't hold a candle to me. And even if I try to throw one at me, I still stand on T. You gotta stop. You're wet with the fake-ass jewelry. You mock my ring. You mock my business. You mock everything. You know why? Because you're low down, you're low on running around talking about thinking. I gave you a job. Okay, Jim Johnson, you have to stop. Okay, Jim Johnson, you have to stop. You ain't given, I ain't got to say thank you. This my house. This my franchise right here. Guess what? The me on no camera. Girl, I don't think you ever need to tell nobody. You gave me no more job on Love and Hip Hop because I came in and ate your ass up. Your show got canceled, girl. Me, I increase ratings, me and my husband. Contrary to what the anybody wanna believe, we all know who the queen and the king is. So, buckle up because what started as one confession has turned into a war. And the fallout might just shake Love and Hip Hop Atlanta to its core. The world of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has never been short of chaos. But this latest chapter has taken the drama to an entirely new level. For years, Rasheeda has worn her crown with confidence, proudly declaring herself the boss chick. It's the woman who not only built her brand from the ground up, but also survived every storm the reality TV world threw at her. From her highly publicized marriage struggles with Kirk Frost to her countless business ventures, Rasheeda has been a central figure in keeping fans glued to their screens season after season. Her storylines have always been messy, unpredictable, and emotional. The exact recipe that keeps Love and Hip Hop in the spotlight. But now, that same confidence, the same boldness that made Rasheeda stand out is the very thing threatening her position on the throne. In a heated exchange that had viewers clutching their pearls, Rasheeda made a confession she thought would highlight her strength and influence. Instead, her words turned into gasoline poured over an already raging fire, igniting one of the most divisive fan wars the franchise has ever seen. Let's rewind for a second. This all started when tensions between Rasheeda and Yandy Smith reached a breaking point. Yandy, a powerhouse in her own right, has always prided herself on being more than just another cast member. She's a strategist, a manager, a wife, and if you ask her fans, the steady hand in the middle of the storm. Unlike Rasheeda, who thrives on fiery showdowns and explosive moments, Yandy has built her reputation on her calm demeanor, her loyalty to Mendes's, and her ability to rise above the mess while still staying relevant. But when these two strong personalities collided, there was no way the drama wouldn't explode. During a taping, Rasheeda boldly claimed that she, not Yand, was the reason viewers kept tuning in every week. According to her, the ratings, the excitement, and the audience's obsession with Love and Hip Hop Atlanta were all thanks to her storylines. She dismissed Yandy's contributions, painting herself as the undeniable queen of the show. For Rasheeda, this was her way of reasserting dominance. After all, she's been in the game for years. Surely that gave her the right to stake her claim. But here's the thing about reality TV. The cameras capture more than just words. They capture energy, tone, and the ripple effects that play out online. And when Rasheeda made that bold declaration, it didn't land the way she thought it would. Instead of applause, the confession sparked outrage. Instead of fans rallying behind her, they flocked to Yandy's side in droves, creating a digital army that's been dismantling Rasheeda's image piece by piece. Almost immediately, Instagram and Twitter lit up with hashtags like Our Team Yandy and Amartria, who with fans dissecting every frame of the confrontation. TikTok edits went viral, showing side-by-side comparisons of Yandy's quiet strength and Rasheeda's fiery bravado. And guess what? The internet crowned Yandy the winner, at least for now. Clips of Rasheeda's confession were stitched with fans rolling their eyes, laughing, or flat out dragging her for being delusional and ego-driven. One comment summed it up perfectly. Rasheeda is acting like she runs the whole network. Girl, you're a cast member, not Mona Scotch Young. That line was retweeted thousands of times, turning into a meme that spread like wildfire across social media. Meanwhile, Yan didn't even need to say much. Her calm reaction, paired with her history of supporting others and holding her family down, spoke volumes. Fans praised her for not stooping to Rasheeda's level, and in doing so, they elevated her even higher. It's almost poetic. The louder Rasheeda screamed about her crown, the more the audience shifted their loyalty to Yandy. And let's not forget about Mendez. The man who's often quiet on the sidelines has suddenly become a fan favorite in this feud. Clips of him supporting Yandy standing by her side with an unbothered attitude have gone viral, with fans calling them the real power couple of the franchise. In fact, some fans have gone so far as to say that Yandy and Mendez bring a level of stability and authenticity that Rasheeda and Kurt could never match. It's wild when you think about it. For so long, Rasheeda was the sympathetic figure, the woman who endured betrayal after betrayal from Kirk, yet always came out stronger. Fans respected her resilience, even when they didn't agree with her choices. But now that sympathy is turned into frustration, people are tired of watching her defend Kirk, tired of her playing the same storyline, and now tired of her trying to crown herself queen of a show that thrives on an ensemble cast. And here's the kicker. Rasheeda's attempt to boost her image has actually boosted Yandy's instead. Every word she spoke, every claim she made only reminded fans why they've grown to love Yandy's quieter, steadier approach. The more Rasheeda pushed her queen narrative, the more fans turned it into a joke, mocking her while praising Yandy as the real star of the moment. This shift in fan energy is bigger than just a feud between two women. It's a reflection of how reality TV works in the age of social media. Cast members might think they control the narrative, but in truth the audience does. Viewers are the ones who decide who's likable, who's believable, and who deserves the spotlight. And right now, Rasheeda is learning that lesson the hard way. So here we are, one confession, one bold claim, and Rasheeda's entire image is under fire. What was meant to secure her crown has instead exposed cracks in her armor. And those cracks are only widening as Yandy's fan army grows louder and stronger by the day. But make no one mistake, this is just the beginning. If history has taught us anything, it's that Rasheeda doesn't back down easily. And if Yandy's fans keep pushing, the Queen of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta may just launch a counterattack that nobody sees coming. The real question is, will Rasheeda find a way to win the fans back? Or is this the beginning of the end of her reign? The moment Rasheeda's confession dropped, the entire Love and Hip Hop Atlanta universe went into shockwaves. What she believed was a power move, declaring herself the queen, who single-handedly carried the show, quickly spiraled into her most controversial misstep yet. Instead of securing her legacy, Rasheeda unintentionally declared war, not just on Yandy, but on the very fans who've kept her relevant all these years. And if there's one thing any reality star should know by now, it's this. When you lose the fans, you lose everything. The major conflict began when Yandy, never one to let a claim like that slide, clapped back in the most calculated way possible. Unlike Rasheeda, who went on a fiery rant, Yandy's response was subtle, measured, and dripping with shade. She didn't scream, she didn't curse. Instead, she looked directly into the camera and said, "At the end of the day, the people decide. Not me, not her, not anyone else. If the fans think I'm doing my job, then I'm grateful. I don't need to crown myself anything." Boom. That one line instantly flipped the script. Fans took her words as gospel, flooding timelines with praise for Yandy's humility and authenticity. Suddenly, Rasheeda's loud proclamation looked desperate compared to Yandy's quiet confidence. The first twist was clear, what was meant to strengthen. Rasheeda's image ended up exposing her insecurities. But things didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, whispers started circulating that Rasheeda's confession wasn't just ego, it was strategy. According to alleged insiders, Rasheeda had been feeling sidelined by producers who were shifting more camera time toward Yandy and Mendez. Some even claimed that ratings data showed Yandy's storylines were pulling higher engagement online, leading Mona Scott-Young and her team to push her to the forefront. If true, this meant Rasheeda's outburst wasn't just predict, was panic. And let's be honest, Rasheeda has a lot to panic about. For years, her storyline has revolved around her marriage with Kirk, his betrayals. It's her forgiveness, the cycle repeating again and again. Fans once sympathized, but now they're bored. They've seen this movie 1,000 times, and it always ends the same way with Rasheeda staying, no matter what Kirk does. Yandy, on the other hand, is offering fans something fresher. Resilience, family loyalty, business power moves, and a marriage that, despite its challenges, feels stronger and less toxic. When Rasheeda stood on her soapbox and crowned herself queen, fans saw through it. To them, it was the desperate cry of a star clinging to relevance in a world that's already moving on. And the proof, the comment sections, Twitter threads lit up with users saying things like, "Rashed's been playing the same tired record for years. Yandy's giving us new energy, sis. If you got to call yourself queen, maybe you ain't the queen no more. Rasheeda acting like she owns VH1. Somebody remind her she's just a cast member." The backlash was brutal, and it didn't take long before Rasheeda started to feel the sting. But instead of backing down, she doubled down. In a now infamous Instagram Live, she clapped back at the critics, insisting that her years on the show earned her the crown, whether people liked it or not. She went so far as to shade Yandy directly, saying, "Some of these girls just got here and think they can take over, but let's not forget who built this house." That line, "who built this house," sparked yet another twist. Within hours, fans turned it into a meme with side-by-side edits showing Rasheeda making her claim, while clips of Yandy's biggest moments played underneath, captions like, "Actually, this is who kept the lights on." The internet has a way of flipping the script faster than anyone can control. And this time it was Rasheeda on the losing end of the joke. But the first major twist in this feud wasn't just about fan reaction. It was about alliances forming within the cast. Word quickly spread that some cast members were quietly siding with Yandy, praising her professionalism and the way she carried herself. Even those who didn't speak out publicly were allegedly letting producers know that Rasheeda's diva behavior was becoming a liability. Meanwhile, Rasheeda's closest allies like Kirk were nowhere to be found, leaving her isolated in the middle of a storm she created. And then came the bombshell that changed everything. An alleged producer leak hit the blogs, suggesting that Mona Scott-Young herself was considering restructuring the next season to give Yandy and Mendez an even bigger role. The leak claimed that Mona was impressed with how Yandy handled the feud, and Yandy believed the audience saw her as the more relatable figure. If true, this meant Rasheeda wasn't just fighting for a crown, she was fighting for her future on the show. Fans went wild with speculation. Was Rasheeda's job at risk? Was this feud a sign that her storyline had run its course? And more importantly, was Yandy about to officially step into the role Rasheeda thought she already owned? The possibility of a power shift sent the fandom into overdrive with debates raging across every platform. In the middle of this chaos, Yandy remained calm, never once directly attacking Rasheeda, but letting the fans do the work for her, and that ironically became her biggest weapon. While Rasheeda scrambled to defend her crown, Yandy sat back, let her fan army grow, and quietly solidified her position as the show's new queen in waiting. But here's the wildest part of all. Rasheeda's confession wasn't entirely wrong. She has been a staple of love in hip-hop Atlanta. And without her, this show might not have survived its earlier seasons. The problem is, by screaming about her crown, she forced fans to question whether she still deserved it. And once that question was out in the open, there was no putting it back in the box. The first twist in this saga is that the very words meant to elevate Rasheeda have instead exposed her biggest weakness, insecurity. Fans smelled desperation from a mile away, and right now it's clinging to Rasheeda like perfume she can't wash off. Meanwhile, Yandy's calm confidence is making her shine brighter than ever, turning the tide of public opinion in a way Rasheeda never saw coming. Abi, the question now isn't just who holds the crown. It's whether Rasheeda can survive this storm without losing everything she's worked for. And with alliances shifting, fans revolting, and producers allegedly plotting a shakeup, the stage is set for a battle unlike anything we've seen before. Because if Rasheeda's confession was the spark, what's coming next could very well be the explosion that changes love and hip-hop Atlanta forever. If fans thought Rasheeda's self-proclaimed queen moment was messy, what happened next turned the feud into something so explosive that even producers were scrambling to get ahead of the chaos. The drama escalated far beyond petty shade, and the shocking reveal that followed left everyone questioning whether Rasheeda's empire was on the verge of peon collapse. It started with a leak, not from a gossip blog, not from a fan page, but from someone on set. A mysterious account posted what appeared to be unreleased footage from a heated argument backstage at the reunion. In the clip, Rasheeda could be heard ranting to producers, demanding more airtime and threatening to walk off the show if her role wasn't respected. "This is my show," she shouted, "and I'll be damned if Yandy comes in here acting like she runs it." The internet erupted. The very thing Rasheeda had been accused of acting entitled and insecure was now caught on tape. Fans didn't hold back. Sis really out here begging for camera time. Embarrassing. Yandy didn't even have to say a word. Rasheeda's doing all the damage herself. Producers better not cave to this. The fans already picked a side. The shocking twist wasn't just that the footage leaked it, who allegedly leaked it. Insiders began whispering that the leak came from someone in Rasheeda's own circle. That revelation split the fan base again. Was someone setting her up? Or was this just karma exposing her true colors? Meanwhile, Yandy stayed cool as ice. Instead of addressing the leak directly, she posted a cryptic message on Instagram. "Queens don't compete, they reign." The caption alone sent fans into a frenzy, with thousands interpreting it as a clear dig at Rasheeda. Within hours, Team Yandy hashtags trended across Twitter, and TikTok edits comparing the two women gained millions of views. But the feud didn't just escalate online. The tension bled into the cast itself. Word got out that several cast members were tired of Rasheeda's attitude and quietly siding with Yandy. One insider leaked that a closed-door meeting had turned into a shouting match when Rasheeda accused certain castmates of plotting against her to boost Yandy's brand. According to the alleged leak, one cast member clapped back, "Nobody's plotting, Rasheeda. The fans just don't rock with you like they used to." And then came the reveal that no one expected. Receipts. A gossip blog claimed they had exclusive text messages between Rasheeda and producers where she allegedly begged for stage story lines to keep her relevant. One message supposedly read, "We need to set something up with Kirk. The cheating angle always works." Another said, "Yandy can't outshine me. Give me something bigger next season." If true, this was a bombshell that completely undercut Rasheeda's queen narrative. Instead of being the powerhouse she portrayed herself to be, she was suddenly painted as desperate, scheming, and insecure about Yandy's rising influence. Fans dragged her relentlessly, calling her scripted, manufactured, and out of touch. The reveal put Rasheeda in a lose-lose situation. If she denied the texts, fans would accuse her of lying. If she admitted to them, it would confirm every criticism about her desperation. But perhaps the most shocking twist wasn't just the texts themselves. It was the rumor about how they surfaced. Multiple sources suggested the leak came from none other than Kirk himself. Yes, Kirk, the husband who had been both Rasheeda's greatest storyline and her biggest liability, was now being accused of throwing her under the bus. Fans immediately began speculating that Kirk, tired of being dragged for years, had handed over the messages to producers or bloggers to distance himself from Rasheeda's mess. Whether true or not, the rumor was enough to fuel headlines for days. Kirk betrays Rasheeda AI on this time with producers. Did Kirk leak the receipts that could end Rasheeda's reign? At this point, Yandy didn't even need to say anything. Her silence was her strategy. While Rasheeda scrambled to defend herself, Yandy let the storm play out, knowing that every new twist only strengthened her position as the calm, collected Queen fans wanted. But here's where things got even darker. Producers allegedly started testing Rasheeda's replacement storyline. According to insiders, new cast members were being filmed in Atlanta, and one name kept surfacing: Aishi Monet, a woman with alleged ties to Kirk's past. The shocking reveal was that Rasheeda's downfall might not just come from Yandy, could come from her own history being dragged back into the spotlight. The escalation had officially turned into survival mode. Rasheeda wasn't just fighting for a crown anymore. She was fighting to stay on the show, to protect her marriage's dirty secrets from being weaponized, and to stop Yandy's fan army from pushing her completely out of the spotlight. And with every leaked clip, every cryptic post, and every whisper of new cast members waiting in the wings, one thing became painfully clear. The game had changed. Rasheeda thought she could crown herself queen. But the shocking reveal proved the crown was never hers to give. It belonged to the fans. And right now, those fans were handing it straight to Yandy. If fans thought the leaked texts and backstage meltdown were enough to destroy Rasheeda's credibility, the reaction that followed pushed things into full-blown chaos. The audience didn't just watch from the sidelines. They became the story, dragging Rasheeda across every platform while lifting Yandy and Mandasi's higher than ever before. And in the middle of it all, industry insiders began whispering that this feud might reshape Love and Hip Hop Atlanta forever. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta forever. The first wave of reactions came from Twitter, where fans wasted no time making memes out of Rasheeda's alleged text messages. Screenshots with captions like "Staging Kirk's cheating again," "Girl, it's tired" went viral within hours. Others spliced clips of Rasheeda's past confessionals with the new leak, editing them into parody trailers that painted her as the villain of LHL. One tweet summed up the mood perfectly. "Rasheeda been recycling the same storyline since season 3, and now we know it's on purpose. Pack her up." Meanwhile, Yandy's fanbase, the self-proclaimed Yandy Army, mobilized like never before. Instagram pages dedicated to Yandy flooded timelines with side-by-side comparisons of her calm, composed demeanor versus Rasheeda's fiery outbursts. TikTok creators started a trend where they lip-synced Rasheeda's leaked rant, mocking her insistence that she runs the show. The East Team Yan trended for 2 days straight, with fans proudly declaring that Yandy had officially stolen the crown. But it wasn't just fans weighing in celebrities. Bloggers and even former cast members chimed in. Erica Dixon, a longtime face of the franchise, posted a cryptic tweet. "It's funny how some folks forget the fans decide who the real stars are." While she didn't name names, the timing left little doubt she was shading Rasheeda. Even Carly Red, usually known for keeping her drama lighthearted, went live to say, "Look, I love Rasheeda, but sometimes you've got to let the new energy shine." Yandy came in swinging. Industry bloggers took things even further. Gossip sites ran wild with headlines like, "Is Rasheeda's time on Love and Hip Hop over?" Yandy quietly wins fans while Rasheeda fumbles the bag. Insiders say producers testing new cast members after backlash. Shade room-style platforms amplified every rumor, every clapback, every shady post, keeping the conversation alive and ensuring Rasheeda stayed trending for all the wrong reasons. Meanwhile, VH1's silence spoke volumes. The network refused to address the leak, the rumors, or the growing divide between the fan bases. And that silence only fueled speculation that executives were letting the feud play out on purpose. Building buzz for the next season, one insider allegedly told a gossip blogger, "The producers aren't rushing to defend Rasheeda because they want to see how fans react. If people are rooting for Yandy, that's good for ratings." This revelation sent shockwaves through the fandom. Was VH1 really ready to push Rasheeda out? Was the network using her downfall to build up Yandy? Theories flooded YouTube commentary channels with creators dissecting every frame of leaked footage, every cryptic tweet, and every live stream for clues. But the most brutal reactions came from Rasheeda's own fan base, or what was left of it. Longtime supporters began expressing disappointment, saying they felt betrayed by the idea that Rasheeda's storylines were staged. "I defended her for years," one fan wrote on Instagram, "but if she really begged producers to make Kirk cheat again, then I can't rock with her anymore. That's fake." Another added, "Yandy might not be perfect, but at least she feels authentic. Rasheeda out here looking desperate." On the flip side, Yandy's stock skyrocketed. Her brand partnerships, already strong, reportedly saw a surge in engagement as fans rallied to support her. One fashion company reposted her cryptic "Queens don't compete" they reign message, turning it into a viral campaign. The comment section blew up with fans tagging it Queen Yand. Behind the scenes, the industry buzz grew even louder. Bloggers claimed producers were actively testing new cast members like Jasmine Blue and Ashley Monet, filming them in scenes designed to see how audiences would respond. If those tests went well, Rasheeda might not just lose her crown, she might lose her seat on the show entirely. But perhaps the most telling reaction came from Kirk Frost himself. After days of silence, Kirk posted a vague Instagram story. "Sometimes the biggest enemy ain't outside, it's the one sleeping next to you." Fans immediately speculated he was shading Rasheeda, accusing her of sabotaging their marriage for clout. The backlash was swift, not Kirk throwing his wife under the bus again. "This man will cheat and leak your texts. Rasheeda, it's over." The industry was divided. Some insiders argued that Rasheeda was too iconic to ever be fully replaced, pointing out that her presence had anchored love and hip-hop Atlanta for years. Others insisted the show needed fresh blood and that Yandy's fan army proved viewers were ready for a new era. The debate became bigger than just a feud between two women. It turned into a question about the future of the entire franchise. And just when the dust seemed to settle, another curveball hit. A leaked email allegedly from someone in production suggested that the next season's marketing campaign was already being designed around Yandy and Mendez as the power couple of love and hip-hop Atlanta. If true, this wasn't just fan speculation anymore. It was confirmation that the network itself was leaning into the shift. Fans reacted with shock, excitement, and fury all at once. Team Yandy celebrated, calling it a well-deserved victory. Team Rasheeda accused VH1 of betrayal, demanding the network respect the originals. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds with supporters from both sides trading insults, memes, and conspiracy theories. By the end of the week, one thing was clear. This feud wasn't just reality TV drama, had become a cultural conversation. People weren't just debating who was the queen of love in hip-hop Atlanta. They were debating authenticity, loyalty, and the power of the fan base in shaping the future of the show. And in that conversation, Rasheeda found herself losing ground fast, just when everyone thought the feud had reached its peak. The story took a sharp left turn that no one saw coming. After weeks of fan backlash, social media dragging, and producers seemingly favoring Yandy, Rasheeda decided to flip the script. She went live on Instagram raw, unfiltered and shaking with emotion. But instead of winning sympathy, her confession set off a chain reaction that left fans speechless and the industry buzzing louder than ever. With tears in her eyes, Rasheeda claimed she had been pressured into staging some of the drama surrounding her marriage to Kirk. She insisted that producers pushed her to exaggerate problems and even hinted that certain storylines were scripted. Chaos. At first, fans leaned in, ready to believe she was finally exposing the dark side of reality TV. But then she crossed a line. Rasheeda accused Yandy of being the true manipulator behind the scenes, claiming Yandy had orchestrated alliances and whispered in producers' ears to secure her spot as the queen. The chat exploded instantly. Comments flooded the live. "Girl, you reaching? Stop blaming Yandy for your mess so you admit it was fake." What Rasheeda thought would be a bombshell truth turned into a massive backfire. Instead of turning fans against John Dye, the confession painted Rasheeda as desperate someone willing to throw everyone else under the bus rather than own her part. And Yandy's fan army pounced within minutes. They clipped Rasheeda's confession, remixing it into TikTok parodies with captions like, "When the crown slips, blame the producers." But that wasn't even the biggest twist. Hours after Rasheeda's live, a well-known gossip blogger dropped what they claimed were leaked production receipts, emails, and call sheets that suggested Rasheeda hadn't been pressured at all. Instead, they alleged Rasheeda herself pitched storylines centered on Kirk's infidelity, because cheating scandals always trend, if true. It wasn't just desperation, it was premeditated. The leak spread like wildfire with headlines screaming, "Receipts show Rasheeda pitched her own scandals. Yandy was right all along." Rasheeda's confession collapses. Fans declare Yandy and Mendeces the true royal couple. For Rasheeda, it was a PR disaster. Her confession meant to save face and instead solidified the narrative that she was clinging to her spot with smoke and mirrors. Even her longtime supporters struggled to defend her. One fan tweeted, "We stuck by you through Kirk's mess, but this is a betrayal to the fans." Meanwhile, Yandy handled it with grace, or at least the appearance of grace. She went live the next day calm and collected, addressing the situation without ever saying Rasheeda's name. "The truth doesn't need defending," she said softly. "When you stand in your integrity, the fans see it. That's all I'm going to say." The comment section exploded with heart emojis and Maver Team Yandy tags. It was the perfect contrast. Rasheeda frantic and emotional, Yandy poised and unbeaten behind the scenes. Producers were eating it up. Insiders whispered that the feud was driving record engagement with ratings for the latest season climbing higher than expected. But at the same time, the backlash against Rasheeda raised serious questions about her future. One insider reportedly said, "She's become more liability than asset. If fans don't trust her anymore, it's hard to keep her as the face of the show." And just when Rasheeda thought things couldn't get any worse, another name entered the chat. Ashley Monet, the same Ashley who had history with Kirkand, who had reportedly been in talks with producers, dropped a cryptic Instagram story. "When one queen falls, another rises. Stay tuned." Fans lost their minds. Was Ashley being positioned as Rasheeda's replacement? Was she about to return and expose even more Frost family secrets? Even more Frost family secrets. The timing was brutal. With Rasheeda's confession collapsing, Ashley's tease felt like the final nail in the coffin. Fans speculated that producers were already setting up a storyline where Rasheeda's downfall cleared the stage for new blood. And if Ashley had real receipts on Kirk, could be catastrophic. Yandy's fan army seized the moment, declaring victory across social media. Memes crowned Yandy and Mendez as the official king and queen of love and hip-hop Atlanta. One viral post read, "Rasheeda tried to confess, but all she did was confess to losing." Another said, "Yandy didn't even have to fight. Her army did it for her." The cliffhanger. VH1's official Instagram account posted a mysterious teaser clip. It showed Yandy walking confidently into a scene, fans chanting her name in the background. Then in the final frame, Ashley Monet appeared smirking with a caption, "A new queen is coming. Are you ready?" The internet went into meltdown mode. By the end of the week, one thing was certain. Rasheeda's confession hadn't just backfired and rewritten the entire power structure of the show. Fans were no longer asking if she would lose her crown. They were asking when. And with Ashley waiting in the wings, Yandy soaring in popularity, and producers stoking the flames, the next season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta promised to be its most explosive yet. The only question left, will Rasheeda fight back, or has the queen finally fallen? The fallout from Rasheeda's confession wasn't just messy, it was catastrophic. For years, she had managed to hold her ground through scandal after scandal. But this time, the ground was crumbling beneath her feet. What was supposed to be a bold attempt at controlling the narrative had turned into a devastating miscalculation, exposing cracks not only in her image, but also in her marriage, her alliances, and her future on the show. The tension spilled over into filming almost immediately. During a sit-down with producers, Rasheeda insisted she had been unfairly targeted by editing, that her words had been twisted, and that she was being painted as the villain, while Yandy basked in sainthood. But according to insiders, the producers weren't buying it. One even reportedly told her straight up, "Rasheeda, the cameras don't lie. The fans don't believe you. This is bigger than us now." Meanwhile, Yandy doubled down on her cool, calculated approach. She didn't drag. She didn't rant. She let the fans do the work. Every clip of her calm demeanor next to Rasheeda's frantic energy went viral, creating a stark contrast that only elevated her status as the true queen of love and hip-hop Atlanta. Even castmates began quietly choosing sides. Some who had long stood by Rasheeda suddenly went silent, while others began gravitating toward Yandy. Sensing where the power was shifting, then came the moment that changed everything. During a reunion taping, Rasheeda tried one last time to reclaim control. She stood up, microphone in hand, and delivered a fiery speech about being the heart of the show, the one who had carried love and hip-hop Atlanta on her back for over a decade. The audience clapped politely, but before she could finish, Ashley Monet made her grand entrance. Yes, Ashley, the woman tied to Kirk's past, the same one who had been dropping cryptic hints online, walked onto the stage like she had been waiting for this moment her entire life. The crowd gasped, the cast froze, and Rasheeda's face drained of color. Ashley didn't even need to say much. Her presence was enough. But then, with a sly smile, she pulled a manila folder out of her bag and dropped it on the reunion stage. "Receipts," Ashley said simply. Before taking her seat next to the host, the audience erupted. Fans in the studio chanted. The cast members whispered furiously, and Rasheeda looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor. Yandy sat back, her arms folded, smirking ever so slightly as if to say, "I told you the truth always wins." The folder, according to whispers from backstage, it allegedly contained years-old photos, messages, and financial records that linked Kirk and Ashley in ways that contradicted everything Rasheeda had ever claimed about their marriage being stable. If those receipts saw the light of day, it would shatter not just Rasheeda's credibility, but her entire narrative arc on the show. Social media exploded the second clips leaked from the reunion set. Hashtags like Navri's Read exposed, Ashley has receipts, and our team Yandy trended for days. Fans speculated nonstop. What was in the folder? Would producers air it? Was this the end of Rasheeda on Love and Hip Hop? But the cliffhanger came in the final seconds of the reunion teaser that VH1 dropped. In the dramatic preview, Ashley could be seen sliding the folder across the table toward Rasheeda, while Yandy leaned forward, eyes locked on arrival. The host's voiceover said, "Next season, secrets will be revealed, alliances will crumble, and the crown will never be the same. Who will rise and who will fall?" The screen cut to black dot. Fans were left stunned, desperate for answers. Was this truly the end of Rasheeda's reign? Was Ashley being set up as her replacement? And most importantly, was Yandy about to officially take the throne as the undisputed queen of love and hip-hop Atlanta? One thing was certain.